Hello. Good evening, everybody. We will be starting the session at 5:30. Please stay on standby. Your lines are all muted. Thank you. Good evening, everybody, and Om Shanti to all of you. Before we start the session, I just want to inform you all that we are running this session on Microsoft Teams broadcast mode, and all your lines have been put on mute. I would like to welcome our speaker, Miss Monica Gupta. Monica, a brand storyteller, a digital strategist, has served the industry for over a decade in managerial as well as leadership positions, and about the same in the world of digital advertising. She has worked with reputed multinational brands as a professional and rose in rank from marketing executive to country head, spearheading complete business divisions. Taking stock of her contribution to the sector insights, Success, a popular IT magazine, has chosen her among 50 most empowering women in business. She has also been honored with Eminent Achiever Award in Integrated Marketing Communication by Indian Conventions, a media consortium. Recently, in 2019, she received an appreciation by CIOs of India for imparting knowledge on digital detoxification. She was received India's most prominent women empowerment awards by Merit Awards and Market Research. She is an innate spiritualist and has been associated with Brahma Kumaris for over 34 years. She strongly believes that in today's world where everyone is talking about disruptive solutions, the biggest and the most profound disruption would come from within each one of us, and that is to know and understand who we are and harnessing our inner powers. The biggest gift that we have got in our life is a thought power. We've got to learn the art of making our mind our friend. She is also a firm believer that each one of us has the power to create our own destiny. One needs the right nurturing and investment of time and energy into knowing ourselves. It's only then that we can deal with all kinds of challenges smartly. With that, may I please invite Monica Ji to speak to all of us. Monica, you'll have to unmute your line. No, I think you're still, please unmute again.
Am I
Yes,
audible now?
yes, you are. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much for having me today and Om Shanti to everybody. Well, I understand that last week also you had a session on this, and well, this is a very beautiful initiative taken by your organization to actually take you all to this wonderful journey of actually looking inside because we all understand that these are times when we actually feel that we are locked down. So I actually remember one of the very beautiful stories of the medieval times. Those were the times when diseases used to come. So the big monks of those villages, they used to go out and they used to ask this very profound question from the disease that since you are coming as a epidemic in our village, we'd like to learn from you that how many people have you planned to take along with yourself. And like anything, disease used to tell the numbers. Then came the turn of death. They used to ask the same question from the death, that how many people are you going to take along? Death used to say, I'm going to take half of the people what disease is going to take. And the third question was asked from the fear. So these three people used to come together and they repeated the same question from the fear, that you're also coming along. How many people are you planning to take along with yourself? He says, I'm not going to take anybody along with myself. And the monks used to give them the permission to enter inside the village. When they when the time used to pass by and it was their time to actually return back, the monks used to check how many people have they actually taken along. Whatever number was promised by the disease, it was exact.
Apologies. I'm very sorry. So I'm getting a lot of messages from people that they're not able to hear. I don't know why that is. I'm extremely sorry.
Uh, am I audible now?
We can hear you, but the participants are writing and saying that they can't hear.
You are very much audible. I'm not sure why they're not able to hear.
I will just call up Mohan Raj sir. Please give me 1 minute. I'll have to just call up IT.
Sure.
Anantika, I'm here, Anantika.
Yeah, sir, I'm getting a lot of messages. People are not able to hear her. Everybody's saying it's not audible and there is no sound.
But you are able to hear like Monica?
Yeah, I can
I
hear, Kamal can hear, Meenal can hear. Meenal is not a presenter though, but she can hear clearly.
No, then I don't think there's problem on like Monica's side. It should be okay only on the end users who are having a problem.
Some are having, some can hear,
No, it,
some are not able to
correct.
hear.
Okay. Some people, it should be on the, I mean, the local device problem only, in my view.
So then what do we do? Because there are quite a few people.
can they hear you?
Can you all hear me?
Yeah, we are able to hear you.
Because if they can hear me, then they should be able to hear. Can you hear Mohan Raj, sir?
Yes. Okay, but like, okay, like,
No, they're not able to hear anything.
So, Anantika, I mean, is there a very large number of people who are not able to hear this?
Yes, a lot of people are saying they can't hear.
So let them log in and log out again. I mean, log out and log in again. That is the only option.
Yeah.
Because I'm able to hear properly. I mean, I'm sure you're able to hear. Mohan Raj is also able to hear.
Even Meenal is able to hear. Meenal is also an attendee for my team.
So, Mohan Raj, it will not make much difference if somebody is on mobile or on a laptop. I mean, is it going to make some difference?
No. It is purely their last mile connectivity. I mean, or you see what happened 2 days back. I kept my speaker in a very low volume, and I was struggling. And only then I realized that my speaker volume was low. Then I increased the volume.
Okay, fair enough. So let's continue. Anantika, whoever is sending you text, tell them to increase the volume.
Okay.
We
Please
can't do
continue.
this. Yeah. Sorry for this, Monica.
No worries.
Please
That's
contact.
absolutely fine.
Please
Yeah.
continue.
So I was sharing that, when they were finally returning, they found that whatever number was promised by the disease, uh, she was taking the same number. So was the case of the death. But interestingly, when they saw there was a huge population behind the fear, and they actually stopped fear.
Oops.
Somebody is muting me again and again, I think. Am I now audible?
Very much, very much.
Sure. Okay. So, they actually stopped fear and they asked that you had promised that you are not going to take anybody along. He said, yes, I actually stand by my promise. It's not me who's taking them, it's they who want to come alongside. So, my dear friends, today is the time when we really need to pause and ponder and ask ourselves that are we really ready to overcome the fear of uncertainty? Or is it a pressure that somebody's organized it and we really need to, attend this? No, my dear friends, this is the time which we've got for ourselves to actually look inside. These are not times for lockdown. These are absolutely opportune times when we all can sit together and actually look inside how one can improvise ourselves. So, in this presentation, we are going to analyze the present state. We are going to understand what actually disturbs us, and how we can actually get into the better control of things. Who has to become strong? Is it somebody outside? Is it me physically who has to become strong? Or is it something within me who has to bring about this change? And last but not the least, the most beautiful thing of this session is the meditation experience. We'll go on a beautiful journey of not only empowering ourselves, but how we can actually create that environment in through which we can not only empower ourselves, but we can empower the environment and also empower and send those positive vibrations around in the world. So my dear friends, I'd like to ask you guys a simple question, that do you agree that times have changed? Do you really feel and see them? Let's just go back into those times when COVID had not hit India. Into a typical usual day, let me take you to a small journey of a typical day in your life. These are the some of the moments that we actually see in our typical day. Let us just sit for a moment of silence and start reflecting one normal day in my life. Sit back and start watching a normal day, which was much before COVID had actually hit our lives. The moment you get up in the morning, keep watching your screen of the mind. How do you feel? What are those first actions that you take up when you get up in the morning? As the day proceeds, you get ready and do the normal routine stuff. Keep watching. What are you doing? What are you really busy with? And then you get ready to leave for the office. How do you see and perceive? What are the feelings that are coming to you? While you're driving to the office, you reach office and you have loads of work. And suddenly you are informed that there is a meeting and you have to give some presentation. Keep watching your mind. What are the feelings that are coming to you? You receive calls from your family. They want something urgent to happen. And how do you address to those situations? Your juniors require your time, your seniors require your time. And how does that typical day look like? While you're sipping a coffee, you're eating lunch. What are the thoughts that are coming to your mind? While attending the meeting, which might be stressful meetings, while attending presentations, while meeting people, are you relaxed? Or is it in these COVID times that you really feel fearful? Ask yourself, how has been the life and the journey till date? Were you relaxed, or were you also having such stressful situations? Were you also having uncertainties about your own life, about the life of your children, about what is going with your seniors or the elders in the family? Ask yourself, is it something new that has come up, or is it just a change in the situation? While all these things had been there, the only addition which has happened is now that we all are getting time to sit at our home and see what's happening outside in the world. My dear friends, today's social media is full of such gruesome images. We all are witnessing what's happening outside in the world. Are these situations making me feel stressed? Ask yourself. Are these not the opportune times which we are getting to sit with our family? Are we really enjoying these times usefully to spend with my family? Was it not really that I had bargained my life for to be happy, peaceful, and spend quality time with my friends and my people? But what's happening out today? That even though we are getting time to sit peacefully and work at home, we are so much stressed with the digital information which is coming to us. And we are constantly forwarding and sharing that information with our friends, with our colleagues, and creating that aura constantly. You see in this lovely image, when everybody is sitting together and watching television, actually everybody is busy with their own device. Is this the kind of life that we had really bargained for? And then today we say that panic, fear, worry, uncertainty is actually hitting us all. And we all feel that we are in a pain. My dear friends, I'm going to ask you a very, very simple question. We all consume food and we chew it, and the moment we have digested the food becomes part of my energy. So today we have to pause and ponder and realize for ourselves that whatever information that we all are consuming, it is definitely becoming the part of my energy. If I'm consuming constantly negative energy, constantly energy which is full of pain and fear, it is definitely going to create an impact on me. It definitely is like life is a beautiful canvas. And today we need to understand that situations are different colors, which we as human beings have definitely a chance. We have a choice that we can throw these colors on our life called canvas. And we definitely have this choice and control that do we really want to create a masterpiece for ourselves? Always remember that the for boat to sail in the sea, it is important that the boat has to be in the water and not the water in the boat. The moment water enters inside the boat, even the finest of the cruises, which was the Titanic, which was supposed to never sink, was the ship which actually sank. For a very simple reason, the water entered inside the ship. My dear friends, fear, anxiety are nothing but my responses towards these situations. We need to understand what is that I really want to create in my life. My life is a beautiful canvas and a canvas which cannot be rubbed or erased. So let us today take the utmost use out of this webinar, because let's understand a smooth sea can never make a skilled sailor. So these are the times for us to become skilled, to become smart, to become tough in our life, because they say tough people are bound to stand the tough times. So are we all ready? I I understand you all are technology guys, and hence I'll ask you a very simple thing. If there is a problem with a system, we always look in for what kind of processes is a system running. Similarly, if there is a problem in the system called mind, we are feeling fearful, we have a feeling of panic, we have definitely a lot of worries, we feel little stressed and have anxiety.
we need to today sit back and relax and check for ourselves that what kind of processes are open here. We need to learn the art to actually close undesired or unrequired processes. So, in this webinar today, we are going to definitely introspect what is going wrong, what is wasteful. I'm not going to give you some solution because let's understand today the problem is mine. I'm just going to showcase a mirror in front of you. We are the ones, if I have created a mess for my life, it is me who has to find a positive solution for myself. So let us today sit back and tell ourselves that we are all ready to go on this beautiful journey of introspecting ourselves, closing the undesired processes which we have all this while opened for ourselves, and actually upgrade the software and ask the team inside to work in harmony. So I remember a very beautiful story which I read in my childhood. Once upon a time, there was a wonderful uh, youngster who had actually mastered the art of bow and arrow. He was a wonderful archer. He used to tell people that I am the best. I do not have a competition. So one person in his village, he said, yes, you are wonderful, but I would agree to what you say only when you actually defeat that old man who stays in that corner of the village. And if you can defeat that man, I will agree that you are the best in this world. So this young child, he actually went to that old man and he said that I'm going, sir, I want to do a contest with you, a competition with you, because people say that I will become world's best archer if I can actually defeat you. So he said, my dear child, okay, if you feel so, I am happy to accept this challenge. So they both went to a place. This child had actually chosen a tree with a fruit lying there, and he very smartly had, thrown an arrow there, and he could very smartly, chop off that fruit into two different halves. And he said to this old man, now you do it, and I would want to see your skill sets. The old man lifted his arrow and he very beautifully and very easily not only chopped off the fruit, but also did thrown another arrow, and he very beautifully divided into yet another two halves. This guy was surprised, and this old man said, that listen, child, I did what you said. Now you will have to do what I am going to tell you. He said, fair enough. This old man, he took him to woods. They both started moving. He had taken this old man. He drove him to the a small trail. The child was quite, that where is this guy taking me to? And finally, when he started moving, he had taken him between the two, mountains. And on mountains ke beech mein, there was a small bridge where he asked him to move along. The child was scared, badly scared, and his legs were actually shivering. Leave about the bow and arrow, he was absolutely in sweat. The man kept on moving, and he actually had shown them a very beautiful tree, and the tree again had fruits. This guy had asked him to actually, वहां पे एक bow arrow throw करने के लिए, this old guy. So old guy had very beautifully thrown that bow and arrow and was very relaxed. Now he said to the young child, now you repeat what I have done. The child was literally in tears, and his legs and his arms were shivering with fear. So this old man, he lifted this small boy and he said, "My dear child, I am going to tell you something very beautiful. You have definitely and perfectly mastered the art of throwing the bow and arrow. आपने बहुत सुंदर रीति से इस आर्चरी की शिक्षा पे बहुत अच्छी तरीके से महारत प्राप्त करी है. But where is that mind who can actually fight against the difficult situations? You really need to learn the art to master the art of fighting with the situations which are not in your control, which are very typical situations. So, my dear friends, we need to today ask ourselves, are these COVID times not those situations which are actually telling us to look inside and ask ourselves that we have to master the art of empowering our mind? Because they say it very beautifully. If our mind is weak, even the smallest of the situation appears like a problem. And if our mind is stable, then the situations actually appear like a challenge. But if our mind is powerful, then all such situations appear like a opportunity. So these are opportune times. And we have to learn this art that we are the master creators. Yes, we have today created the best of the technology. Look at this beautiful technology that while sitting in our lockdown rooms, we can today interact with the people world over. We've created such beautiful, sleek, and thin devices that, just as at a press of a button, we can connect anywhere. We have advanced so much that we've created best of the medicines. Today, we have so much medicines which are available, but we need to ask ourselves that are we really well inside? We have so many wellness centers. Today, we have also created schools where people are going to learn happiness, to learn the art of laughter. Something which was our own innate quality. Today, somebody outside has to actually, we have to pay money to these guys outside to learn the art of being happy. Today we have more conveniences, but we have less time to actually enjoy those conveniences. We have best of the gadgets available at our home. But where is the time to actually enjoy, my dear friends? We have learned and we have learned an art to make a living, but we've actually absolutely lost a, how to create the art of a quality life. Today, we have best of the technologies available even for our transportation system. We have the metros, we have airports, all kinds of things are available. But look at the situations on the roads. That's the kind of situations that we often come across. What about business? The styles, the communications have totally changed. In previous days, the brands used to speak and the customers were always listening. It was a monologue, and sometime later, it started becoming a dialogue. Brands used to talk and customers used to address and ask questions. But today, the times have totally changed. Today, the customers are talking and brands are responding. Not only that, even the customer journey has changed tremendously. Previously, something which used to be pretty simple, today it has become complex. So much so that we customers are today spoiled for choices. We have more competition and we have more options available. And hence, brands are today talking about omni-channel and getting into the customers' micro moments. Times are changing, my dear friends. Today are the times which are constantly demanding. Year on year, everybody is asking us that today we want to be better, better than last year. We want to be faster. We have to achieve things very fast. And we want to be cheaper. That is the question which is being imposed by each and every company to all their employees, to all their vendors. And I'm sure you are no escape to it. So, as a result, what's happening? We have started moving towards more and more and more technology. While we are using more and more technology, have started to actually installing more and more apps and more interesting tools on our devices. Well, the tools which we wanted to use at one point of time today have become the tools that we need to use. And so much so that we find our lives really difficult if we if we do not get such tools and we become addict to such tools. So dear friends, we've today created an era of timeless and endless web. 24 by 7, 365 days in a year, we all are connected and there is nothing that is not available to us. It's easy for each one of us to log onto our devices, but it's difficult to actually leave these devices. We've actually got emotionally invested in these digital times or electronic devices. So we need to today pause and ponder. We really need to check and ask ourselves, where are we really moving towards? I remember in, almost 10, 15 years back, when there used to be a phone, which was a huge instrument, and you used to put your finger and used to the dial to make a call. And those were the times when you just had one device at your home to speak with people, almost 15, 20 years from now back. And those were the times when the difference between two interruptions was almost 2 hours, until pagers got introduced, until cell phones came into existence. And that's how these time between two interruptions started reducing. Today, if I were to say, each one of us at least have one smartphone, if not two. And while you guys are sitting here and listening to me, I'm sure your device would be full of notifications. So when we don't give time to actually our brain to focus on a particular task, then it has to constantly switch between the tasks. And when this switching is happening between one task to another task, we have to constantly pay the switching penalty. As a result, our mind is constantly becoming weaker and weaker. Because they say it very nicely that increased interruptions have led to decrease in the attention span. Let me ask you a very simple thing. If we have a loaf of a bread which has to be distributed amongst 5 people, the amount which each one of us would get would be much larger if I ask you that the same loaf of bread has to be distributed amongst 50 people. Yes? If that be the case, that's exactly what is happening in our brain. We're constantly feeding this mind and brain with so much of information that our energy is actually going on a toss. And as a result, today we've become individuals with continuously partial attention. Continuously, we are giving partial attention to each of the things that we are doing. And as a result, today most of us say that life में कुछ मजा नहीं आ रहा है. While you have best of the gadgets, you have best of the technology, we have best of the things which are available at our home. Still, why we keep saying that life में मजा नहीं है? The life is not interesting. The ability to really enjoy our life is constantly and drastically decreasing, making our brain very sick and tired brain. As a result, when the energy is becoming tired and actually sucked up, then, my dear friends, fear, panic, worry, anxiety is taking a toll. So much so that today we have become from human beings to human doings. Just ask yourself, you know, today every doctor is actually prescribing most of us that we have to take multivitamins. Most of us, even though we are going out in sun, we still are suffering from vitamin D deficiency. We are starting our day with a B complex, capsule, and actually retiring to the bed with a goli of Elprex, with a Elprex capsule, for a very simple reason that life is becoming stressful. We've actually, you know, become so much weak that today our life is guarded by worry, hurry, and curry. And with this curry coming in our life, people who are suffering from stress have started eating so much so that we are turning out to be obese. So let's just pause and ponder. What have we done to ourselves? We've created so much of hyperactivity, inattention, depression, and these things are becoming more pandemic, more omnipresent than a COVID, which is still, present amongst certain people. But this technology explosion today, my dear friends, is available and is present, and each one of us are suffering from this bigger pandemic disease. So we have ended up complicating our life, and today we need such sessions wherein we really need to introspect ourselves and ask ourselves that how can we, overcome these uncertainties and fear in our life. So my first thing is, let us tell ourselves a very simple equation, that wherever my attention goes, wherever my attention goes, my energy flows. And wherever my energy flows, my life is going to grow in that direction. Ask yourself, where do I really want to give attention to? If I want to give attention to the negative news, if I want to give attention to something which is wasteful, that is getting translated into a negative and a wasteful energy. Just take for a simple example. You are sitting in your car without changing the gear of your car. You start the car and your car is on neutral. Start pressing the race of your car. Would your car move? No. For a very simple reason, you have not changed the gear. Similarly, if we keep spending our energy in the wasteful things, in the negative things, our energy is going to get slowly start depleting, because our brain is value neutral. So today we need to ask ourselves, what are those things where we really want to give attention to. By this, I do not mean that we need to disconnect to this world, not at all. We do not need to disconnect to this world, but we need to definitely learn an art to connecting with this world better. Better is the word that we need to learn for ourselves. If we really want to remain calm in such fearful times, if we really want to be happy and successful in our life, then we really need to learn an art to actually be peaceful and connect to things better. We need to definitely gather information, but repeating that information constantly will become the part of my energy. So, lockdown times or look-in times, you decide. Now, let us get into a very beautiful thing, which is how I can actually empower myself. Because the intent is that from this session, we become better personalities. We totally understand that a stressful, a fearful, or a distracted mind cannot ever take a winning decision. So, how do I become relaxed? What changes do I need to bring about? Let me first share with you what is stress. Stress is nothing but it's a form of a pain. It's a form of a pain that tells me that there is something that I need to bring about a change to. And if we remember our childhood, there was a very beautiful equation that we had read in our childhood, that stress is equal to pressure divided by resilience. Now, my dear friends, I'm going to ask you a very simple thing. What are the pressures? Pressures can be anything. These can be the challenges, these can be any such situations which are external. It can be a government policy change. It can be a change in your organizational style of working. It can be a change in the way how my colleagues are responding to me. It can be a change in the way how my personal family is interacting with me. These things are all external. But my dear friends, we need to understand that stress is equal to not just pressure, but there is a denominator also there which says that stress is equal to pressure divided by resilience. So my question to you all would be that if I want to reduce the stress, what do I do? I have two choices. I can either reduce the pressure or I can either increase the resilience. But the question here is that pressure are not in my control. Anything that is outside is not in my control. So what is in my control? I'll have to start working upon that. Resilience or the inner strength is definitely in my control. So today we learn the art of how to work upon ourselves. We learn this art to how to take care of ourselves. So my second thing, I'm sorry, to you is that let us first learn this art of digital detoxification, because this has been derived with IT professionals, and hence we say that in, in this IT, we have the solution to our problem. I comes before T, and similarly, we as individuals will have to learn the art of putting I before T, which is I need to first learn the art of empowering myself. Let me share my principle of simple digital detoxification. It's a simple 60, 90, and 30 principle. No screen for the first 60 minutes of the day. The moment you get up, the first thing that we all invariably do is we look for our mobile device and we start looking at the WhatsApp or checking emails. My dear friends, heavens are not going to fall if I don't check the WhatsApp the moment I get up. For the initial 60 minutes of your day, give time to talk to yourself. Empower yourself, which is what I call that physical to the physical body, you are giving vitamins or, or B complex. But what do I feed my mind with? We have to daily eat a spoonful of happiness. Tell yourself that you are the most wonderful creation of Almighty. You are the most wonderful creation of Almighty. Whatever is happening in my life is perfect, and whatever is going to happen in my life will be perfect. Remember, I told you that brain is value neutral. Whatever I keep telling my brain with, it starts accepting it. It's a beautiful Tathastu machine. If you tell yourself, I am bad, nothing happens to me, मेरा तो भविष्य बुरा है, मेरी जीवन में कुछ नहीं होता है, it keeps saying Tathastu, Tathastu and Tathastu. If you today, from today onwards, if you start telling to your mind and brain that everything is happening perfect in my life, nothing wrong can happen at all to me because I belong to Almighty. I am His most wonderful creation. My dear friends, your brain starts accepting it and it keeps saying Tathastu, Tathastu, Tathastu. For the no screen during during the 90 minutes when you are with the family, enjoy and give quality time to your family. And then while you are going to the bed, please do not use this mobile phone. Make your room an e-free room. For 30 minutes, just talk to yourself. What have you learned during the day? What are the good things that you did in the day? We all are business professionals, and I'm sure as marketers or as business professionals, you definitely have a habit of checking as to or submitting the daily reports. You submit daily reports of what you have achieved professionally. But can we also not ask and submit these reports for our good? Because this is going to bring lot of positivity in our life. My third thing is that challenges are challenges. And let us follow this 4C approach. The first C in this 4C approach is accept the challenge. Whenever there is a problem which is coming, first learn the art to accept it. The second thing is take control over that situation. Third thing is communicate. And the fourth most important is cooperate. Because let us understand that every challenge that is coming to you is definitely bringing two choices. Everything, every situation which is coming to you offers you two choices. Remember, I said that life is a beautiful canvas, and situations are like various colors that we have to paint on this life or in this canvas called life. So these two choices can be, one can be an opportunity and second could be the fear of defeat, the fear of getting lost out. It reminds me of a very beautiful story. Once upon a time, there was a family. The two doctors got married and they were blessed by a wonderful son, a son who was absolutely intelligent. They felt that they should have, you know, a daughter also in their family. And they got blessed with a daughter. The growing years of the children were absolutely wonderful. As the children started going to school, slowly as the classes started increasing, the son was performing beautifully well. Whatever he used to do, he was all throughout a topper. But the child, the younger one, which was the daughter, she wasn't able to concentrate. While she used to study a lot, but there was some problem. People started saying her and pestering her that why don't you study? Why are you not getting marks like the way your elder brother is getting? She kept on thinking that what is my problem? Why am I not able to concentrate? The times kept passing by. She got introduced with this mind session. She started working on empowering herself. So much so that she realized that body is just like an instrument and mind is something which is very powerful. When I start taking control on my mind power, then if the driver is strong, the body or the car can be driven smartly, even though the car is not a great car. This daughter was actually diagnosed by a severe disease of dyslexia. She never used to be able to face people, to talk, or to interact. My dear friends, today that same girl is sitting in front of you. And I'm sitting here sharing my experience with you all that when I started working on the mind power, that's when I started bringing a change in myself. So, mind power is something, if you decide for yourself that you are a powerful being, you are the master creator. You can, the more you feed yourself with positive impetus, you can bring about the change in whatever challenges which are coming towards you. It's just a matter of the choice. So, first thing is you have to face and accept the challenge. Whenever there is a challenge, I accept it for myself that yes, I am suffering from this problem. And once I started accepting it, that's when I got empowered to face it, to fight it, and to finish it. There is a very beautiful and a powerful example in our mythology also. Remember that time when Angad had gone to King Ravana, and where he had actually put forward and had made a very beautiful remark that if anybody could actually move my leg, the Sita would actually belong to him. So when he came back, there was a group of media guys who came to meet up with him, and they asked him a very interesting question that Angaji, were you not scared when you made such a comment? What if somebody would have moved your leg? So he very smilingly replied, and look and listen to it, what he said. He said, मेरा काम था challenge को accept करना. It was my duty to accept the challenge. मेरा पैर हिले या ना हिले, ये राम का काम था. So my foot actually moves or not moves was dependent on Lord Rama, because Sita actually belonged to Rama. So dear friends, God also says, Himmate bache, madade khuda. So at least take this chance, accept the challenge, fight it, finish it forever. We are the ones who have this capacity to face anything. When you get into such situations, he gives you the power to control. If you are in the situation and you are not taking the control, then you would never be able to make winning situations. The best and worst, the broad vision or the strategic vision comes when you actually go see the things from the top. And hence, be a detached observer. Take the control of the situations, and then you become powerful. But the question comes, who can take the control of the situation? The person whose heart is actually free from hatred would be the one who can take control of the situations. Ask yourselves, if somebody has done wrong to me, do I till date have kept those painful moments in my heart? You have to today ask yourself this question and free your heart from all kinds of negativity. Because I remember in my sixth class, we were taught a beautiful proverb which said very clearly, hate the sin, but not the sinner. कितनी बारी हमारी लाइफ में ऐसा होता है when somebody who is friends with us, we throw a big smile at them, and somebody whom we do not like, हंसते हंसते भी हमारा मुंह सिल जाता है. We actually do not smile at them, we do not like to look at them. Why is that so? Let's understand, we all are beautiful and wonderful creations of Almighty. Each one of us are like actors playing our roles on this world stage. And we have to learn that art to enjoy. We cannot accept that two CDs can be same. You might have a different recording, I can have a different recording, but we need to learn that art of appreciating each and everyone on this earth. So, dear friends, today ask for yourself, free yourself from hatred, because heart is a very beautiful organ. It is a fertile land. It is an organ. Whatever you keep it inside, it has a capacity to actually throw it throughout your body. So, if the heart is full of negativity, if the heart is full of hatred, if the heart is full of fear, anxiety, the whole energy of the body becomes negative and wasteful. So let us decide for ourselves that we will free our heart from hatred and we'll free our mind from worries. It reminds me of a very beautiful story of two monks who were actually traversing and moving from one village to another village. And while they were moving from one village to another village, they were to cross a river. When they were to cross a river, they saw a lady sitting there, and this lady requested the two monks that, brother, I also want to cross the river, but I don't know how to swim. Could you please help me to actually move from one bank to the another? One of the monk was very humble, and very humbly he said, yes, sister, why not? I am going to help you with this. The other monk started, seeing him and, literally cursing him that in our religion, it is bad to touch a woman. How can somebody do like this? This brother, the second one, he actually lifted this lady and उसको बहुत प्यार से नदी को पार करा दिया. And अपनी मस्ती में and in his own prayers, he started moving forward. 1 day passed, 2 days passed, 5 days passed. He was enjoying the peace and the fun which he used to derive from meditation. The other monk was very, very irritable, very cheeky, and he suddenly started blasting him. You are bad, you are really like a black spot in our whole religion. He said, why? What have I done? He said, 5 दिन पहले, 5 days back, तुमने 5 मिनट के लिए उस लेडी को अपने कंधे पे उठाया था और हाथ लगाया था. It is bad, you are really bad. He started laughing and he said, yes, I had lifted that lady, that sister, for 5 minutes and helped her cross the river. बट आप पिछले 5 दिनों से उसको अपने सिर पर उठा करके घूम रहे हो. You are actually carrying that thought for last 5 days. My dear friends, ask yourself, are we not also keeping these pressures of something which is not in my control? What is going to happen tomorrow? How would the life be after these COVID times? Tell yourself whatever would happen would be for good. Everything would come to normal. It is, let us understand, change is inevitable, but transformation is a personal choice. All these things have to come back to normal. It is we who have to learn that what is it that this change is asking me or demanding me. It demands a positive transformation. So, my dear friends, free yourself. Free yourself from anything negative which is bugging you. Then communicate. Find time to sit with your family. Find time to talk to your parents. Just a couple of days back, when we were running a session on parenting, a question came from a parent, and it was something very interesting. They asked us a question that in these COVID times, we find it very strange and very cheeky how to keep our children busy. We don't even know what to talk to them, and we find it very strange. I was actually laughing, and I was talking to these people that in our life, everybody dreams that I want a happy life. I want a life which is full of peace. I want a life which is full of bliss. No matter money, technology, gadgets are important. But ask yourself, why do I want these money, technology, gadgets? For a very simple reason, I want to live a comfortable life. What is this comfort going to give us all? It's going to give us happiness. So at the end of the day, we all want to be happy. We all want to be peaceful. We all want to be blissful. We all want to be powerful. Are we not wanting that? So if that's the thing, desire that we all have in our life, then my dear friends, it start from first me, and then my kith and kins, and then my family at large, and then my you know area at large. So let us find time to spend with our relations. They are wonderful people. These gadgets have taken so much of time that we today do not have time for our own family. And then comes the cooperation. When we actually love people as a corporate, even when we care about each other, we communicate, that's when we slowly start getting cooperation. I'm sure you remember that story of Govardhan Parvat. What did God ask? He had asked a choti si ungli, a simple ungli which depicts that we want cooperation. And what cooperation can we give to each other is just thinking positive. If I cannot give help to somebody, can I simply give a help of giving positivity? At least think positive. If you have time, if you have capability, then definitely render the help physically also. But at least from your mind, let's think positive. And now the most important part of this session, which is time to empower the master within. Let me tell you guys that do you know that you are all the master creators of your own destiny? Let us just see for ourselves that what is this wheel of fortune, or what is this wheel of destiny. Let us see here that anything which comes to me creates a thought. These thoughts, the moment they come to me, they create a feeling which can be positive, which can be negative. These feelings are creating my attitudes. Is it good? Why this corona came? It shouldn't have happened. Look at the time wastage which has happened. What are these people doing? They have put us inside the home. These are lockdown times. So you see, there are different feelings which are being created. On the contrary, a positive feeling could be, okay, I'm getting some time to introspect. I'm getting time to work peacefully at home. So these feelings are creating attitudes. These attitudes create action. And each action, if constantly getting repeated, is forming a habit, is forming a sanskar. And these habits are determining my personality. Whether am I a positive personality or a negative personality. These personalities are creating our destiny. We are finding time to sit in this webinar, listening and introspecting. These thoughts are creating feelings, positive or negative. I am constantly introspecting myself and telling myself, yes, I want to bring about a positive change. This positive change, if practiced in my action, these are going to create habits. These habits are going to make me a profound and a strong personality. And this personality is going to create my destiny. A destiny which is positive, a destiny which is guarded by a positive action. But where has this whole wheel started are the thoughts. So let us understand what are these thoughts and how can I empower and make them more positive and constructive. And who is the one who's creating these thoughts? Just look at this thing. This is a body, a human. The moment being enters inside, he becomes a living human being. That is what we call ourselves. Now, I give you a very simple situation. If I ask you people to raise your hand, raise your hand. Now, let us just analyze this situation. I asked you to raise your hand. What actually happened? I told you, you heard it, there was neurons which transmitted and the information went to your brain. The brain in turn sent a transmitter and the transmitter said, raise your hand. You have raised your hand. Now the same thing I will tell to a dead body, raise your hand. Would he raise his hand? No, never. Why does a dead body not raise his hand when he's actually died because of a natural cause? There was nothing, there was no issue. Heart is intact, brain is intact, every vital organ is there, but this dead body doesn't raise the hand. Let's just understand it through this wonderful thing, which is going to make things pretty simple and clear for ourselves. We call ourselves human beings. Human plus being. Now, human is nothing but these 5 elements which make my body. The earth, the water, the air, the space, and the fire. What is being? Being is nothing but the energy, the Shakti, the Ru, the Atma, whatever you call it, the power, which is driving this costume. I say, I came by my own legs. I never say, I came with I legs. There are 2 things that I use, I and mine. I am talking with my own mouth. I mouth is never talking. I ate food with my own mouth. I and my. There are two different things, which tells us a very beautiful thing, that there is something inside sitting which is driving this costume. जिसके होने से हम कहते हैं लिविंग बीइंग, और जिसके चले जाने से हम कहते हैं अरथी, अजमारथी, which means the car is there but the driver is no more. चल बसा, बहुत सुंदर शब्द है। इस शरीर में बसता था, आज इस शरीर में नहीं है, यहां से चला गया और कहीं और जाके बस गया। So it tells me a very, very simple and an interesting concept, that what is a beauty of a car without a driver? If we have wonderful best of the cars standing outside our home, but none of us know how to drive that car, then that car is just like a showpiece. Similarly, my dear friends, this body is just like a showpiece or a dead body till the such time you have the being entering inside, and that being takes the control of this body. We have been feeding this body 3 times in a day at least. I need to ask you people, what are we feeding this being with? The driver within. How many times till date in this year only have you actually realized that you are the being or the energy which is sitting inside this costume? How many times have you taken care of this being, and then we say stress होना तो लाजमी है, fear तो होना ही होगा ना, because you have till date never learned that art of empowering yourself. And today in these COVID times, we are getting chance to actually understand, who am I? This being has 3 beautiful faculties through which it is interacting with this world. Like this body has 5 different things through which it interacts with the world. The 4 things are there on the mouth, which is the mouth, the eyes, the nose, the ears, and the hands. With these 5 things, we are interacting. The being interacts with these 3 powers, which is mind, the intellect, and resolves. Mind, the thinking faculty; intellect, the judging faculty, or even the visualizer. And how does it visualize? We'll do a small exercise. So, mind thinks, generates thoughts. Intellect decides what is right, what is wrong. Resolves are nothing but they are the repeated actions, repeated habits which we are constantly repeating. The habits which we are constantly repeating form our sanskars, or what we call as habits, resolves. So I will tell you a very beautiful and an interesting aspect. I was doing a research on Huffington's Post, and Huffington's Post had a beautiful article which says very clearly that today a human being has a capacity to generate almost, the numbers have actually changed, 50,000 to 70,000 thoughts per day. Wow. Look at the kind of energy that we all can create. 50 to 70,000 thoughts per day. And do you know, the mind has the capability to generate 4 types of thoughts. Positive thoughts, which are guided by values, virtues. I think positive about myself, I think positive about others, and the world at large. Negative thoughts. It can be thinking negative about self, thinking negative about others, not value-based thoughts. And then comes the essential thoughts. the work related important thoughts, the daily routine thoughts. And then is the waste thoughts. You ask somebody, what are you doing? No, I'm just thinking. Oh, what are you thinking? No, just thinking if this would have happened, then that wouldn't have happened. But finally, nothing has happened. No, why are you unnecessarily pressing the accelerator of your car when you've not changed the gear? Damn it, the car would keep remaining there. And that's exactly what we keep doing. So, this study showed the thought patterns of people across the world when they had carried out a survey, and it showed, to my surprise, very clearly that 90% of the thoughts that people are creating are waste or negative. 5% of the thoughts that we are creating are essential thoughts. And it's only rest 5% are the positive thoughts. If I were to ask you people that this is your factory and you are the owner of this factory, would you want to continue with this factory? I'm sure your answer is no. If your answer is no, my dear friends, then this factory is actually running here. Ask yourself. Time to pause and ponder. It is me, myself, who is making myself constantly weak and depleting my own energy. Let us be kind to ourselves. Leave behind kind to others. First, be kind to yourself. They say charity begins at home, and I feel this is the biggest home where I, the soul, lives. So let us pause and ponder and decide for ourselves if that's the thing which is happening inside me. I need to bring about a change. एक बहुत सुंदर कहावत है, भूतकाल एक सपना है, भविष्य एक कल्पना है, वर्तमान तो अपना है ना. वर्तमान is like a present from the God. Enjoy it like a present. Enjoy it. Definitely learn from the learnings of the past to invest in the future, creating a positive future. But at least enjoy the present. Don't spoil it. These are beautiful times, my dear friends, because we daily get 14, 40 opportunities in our hand. Opportunities to create something beautiful and big. These are 14, 40 minutes that each one of us is getting. Decide for yourself. How do you really want to use it? And my last but not the least, learn to traffic control your mind. Now that we have realized that we are creating thoughts which can be wasteful, which can be negative. And these negative and wasteful thoughts are sucking my energy. If that is the case, then be kind to yourself. Traffic control yourself. Imagine one fine day if the Delhi roads or Noida or NCR roads, there is no traffic signal which is working. What would the situation of the roads be? It would be utter chaos, utter problem. Nobody can actually move from one place to another because people would make a utter mess out there. Similarly, there is a road inside. There is a constant traffic which happens on the mind per se, on the screen called mind. Check for yourself and just follow a simple principle of SOS, which says stand back, observe, and steer. Sometimes in a day, at least in an hour, for a minute, give time to yourself. Check yourself. What are you thinking? Is it really worthwhile? Is it really required? Is it really desired? If it's not desired, please stop it then and there. Make your mind your best friend. Don't have to control it. Control it with love and care. The way you control and love your children with love and care. Tell yourself there is a child which is sitting inside. That also demands your love and patience and care. Because till date you've never taught love, care, and patience to it. And as a result, he's just gone haywire. Now is the time when you can actually bring this beautiful energy called mind, the power called mind, in your own control and make it your best friend. Let me take you on a very simple and an interesting journey called meditation. Meditation is a process of healing ourselves, healing through the positive thoughts. If I today tell you that while you are listening to me, just practice these three things, I'm going to give you a question. I'm going to take you through a small exercise. And while I can't see anybody of you, but you all can see me and listen to me. So let's just follow what I'm saying. Imagine you just get a news. I'm telling you that news that COVID has now gone and your office is open. You all are required to move to your office. Slowly get onto the vehicle on which you really and daily go to your office. Get ready, drive the vehicle, and reach to your office. Now slowly enter inside the door of your office. Open it. And what you see in front are your colleagues, your peers, your seniors. Interact with them. Talk to them. How are these, the work from home? What have they learned? What did they do? Talk to these guys. Share the experiences. Now, suddenly, your peon comes to you and he asks you, so what would you like to have? Tell him what you would like to have. Order a cup of tea or a coffee, whatever you would want to have. Slowly start sipping it. Once you've sipped it and had the complete cup full of coffee or tea, whatever you asked for, slowly come back and sit on the place where you are sitting. If you've done that, ask for yourself, could you actually go to the office? Could you see the people? Could you have the flavor of the tea or the coffee or even the cold drink? If your mind being sitting here and actually ask yourself who had gone. Physically, you all were seeing me, listening to me, but actually, through your mind and intellect, you could go to your office, see and meet people, interact with them, sip the coffee also. When your mind and your brain sitting here can actually experience office while there is no office. You can drive your car while there is no car presently. You can meet the people. You can taste something. Then can your mind not empower yourself? It is just a question of choice. What am I wanting to think? If I can think positive, I can think negative also. If I can create negative thoughts, I can create the positive thoughts. Remember, friends, wars, negativities, fear are born in the minds of the man. Similarly, peace, power, constructive thoughts are also born in the minds of man. So let me take you all to a wonderful journey of meditation. Just sit back relaxed in a very comfortable posture and tell to yourself that now is the time to go on a very beautiful journey. Sit back relaxed and I'm going to give you all some beautiful thoughts. Om Shanti. Sit back comfortably in a very relaxed posture. Tell yourself What a lucky day it is that I've got the real introduction about myself, who I really am. I am the energy within, the driver of this costume. I've understood very clearly for myself that this body is like a car, and I, the soul, the being, is the driver within. These hands are mine, but I am beyond. These eyes are mine. I see this beautiful world through these eyes, but I am not eyes. The mouth is mine. I speak, I talk from this mouth, but I, the energy, is the driver within. I am the source of pure, positive energy. I am a powerful being. I belong to Almighty Father, the Father of all the souls. Now slowly feel God's hand on your forehead, and from His hands a lot of powerful radiations entering throughout my body. Let these pure, full of love radiations, this energy, flow to each and every organ in your body. Filling myself making me feel very powerful, very peaceful, very loveful. Let these radiations fill each and every cell, so much so that it starts moving outside me, creating a positive and a powerful aura around me. In my room, let it flow. This positivity, this energy is encircling my own family, filling my home with positivity, power, and love, pure love. Let it keep flowing in your society, in your city, in your country, in the world at large. I tell myself, I am the master creator. I am a powerful soul. I am the source of pure, powerful, positive energy. All the coronaviruses are dying off because they cannot face me. I am bound to succeed in my life. With that positivity, I slowly come back to my awareness, feeling more empowered and having the true realization of who I really am. I am the master creator. Everything that is happening in my life is certain, is as per what I desired, as what I created. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti. So with this power of meditation, we can keep healing ourselves. We can keep healing the negative emotions, which are nothing but the negative illnesses, which we have imbibed from a lot of people. But now is the time to actually let go of them. Thank you so much for a patient listening. And, with this, if you keep practicing it, the life becomes wonderful and you become the real controller, or I would not say controller. You have the inner kid, the mind, becoming your best friend. Om Shanti, and thank you so much for a patient listening.
Thank you very much, Monica ji. I'm Kamal here. Just to introduce myself in a little different way, I have been a part of the Brahma Kumaris I stay in Noida for the past 4 or 5 months,
Gee.
and I have attended the inaugural session at the IIM Lucknow campus in Noida, where I heard Dr. Gupta as well as you. Thank you very much for
Thank you so
being here
much.
today and addressing our team. And quite a few aspects I just want to highlight, which at least with me it clicked very nicely. I was actually I was thinking about writing a mail to the employees about fearless leadership. In this whole time we are going through, and how to once we surpass this stage or the phase rather,
Gee.
how do we lead it from the front, being fearless. So you have, of course, my thoughts were not as beautiful as as your.
No, absolutely, sir. We learned from you people only.
Yeah.
It's just
So,
that whatever we've learned, we're just trying to put it in practice, because I think each one of us know all these things, but the only concern is, am I becoming an embodiment? So we just have to keep asking ourselves, am I becoming an embodiment? Am I practicing it? Because it's always, practice makes a man perfect. And that's what we are taught here. So it's a education, and it's a very beautiful education. And personally, I've applied it on myself, so I find it very powerful.
surely, I completely agree. And see, in our leadership philosophies, we have been made to believe, or we believe that there are three aspects which are very important. It goes like this: the mindset, skill sets, and tool sets.
Absolutely.
So when we hire people, when we deal with our team, I mean, although we empower them or we train them with the necessary skill set, and of course, in modern times, as you know, you also come from this industry, from a digital industry. Tool sets are all available, but the most difficult task is to build mindsets.
Mindset.
And I think your thoughts, very kind of enlightened thoughts rather, will help my team, whoever could participate in this session immensely. And as my entire leadership is, I'm sure they're in this call, and they'll also take a lot of good things from this session and apply that in our day-to-day life. Because as organizations like ours has got a very big task, it is not about the business, it's all about how do we motivate the employees, keep themselves peaceful, and help them to navigate to this phase. I'm also sure, like all of us, like this is a passing phase, and I keep on telling everyone, once in a lifetime you have to face this. We have not faced a World War I or World War II, this generation.
Yes.
So, in a different way.
Absolutely.
And thankfully, because of technology, I mean, of course, it is a double-edged sword, as all of us could hear you. But yeah, because of technology, we are able to do this also. So that's
Very
the
true.
part of it.
So that's what I said. I mean, we are not trying to disconnect with the technology, but we are just learning to connect better.
Right.
Yeah.
And before I hand over, I just I was going through one of the news items today. I think in one of these apps, which is actually very funny in a way, and it really triggers a lot of thought. That India is the death rate in India. I'm not saying only for COVID-19, but death rate in India has gone down. Now there is a company called Untitled Funeral Services.
Okay.
Okay, who are thinking of cutting jobs, because they operate in Bangalore and in Calcutta. So they're thinking of cutting jobs, because earlier their daily rates of
Dead bodies were more.
right. So 5 jobs in a day, now there are 3 jobs in a day.
Wow.
And they are thinking of cutting down jobs. I mean, which is not a very positive thing, but these are various aspects which are coming out today. So it means that it is helping us to look at life in very different ways, than the way we have been looking at life.
Very true. Very true. And I think we all should definitely make best use out of these times and empower ourselves more, because I don't know what has now to come in the future, but whatever it would be, it has to be wonderful for all of us who are empowered souls.
Surely. Thank you once again, Monica ji.
Pleasure is all mine. Thank you so much for having me, and really glad to interact. Any questions and anything, let me know.
Yeah, my colleague Anantika will.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Kamal. Thank you, ma'am, for your lovely talk. It was really inspiring that I actually started meditating and forgot I was sitting in the session. But yes, we received some questions. The first one is on how to slow down life. Can you elaborate that?
See, it's a very simple thing, and that's what I practice for myself. So when you have lot of things coming as a cue to yourself. I mean, and since for a very simple reason, I work uh, in an advertising, and I run an advertising agency. So every time it so happens that clients are looking in at things like yesterday. So the moment you're at office or not even at office, things just coming like oof, and rushing like anything, and everybody wanted it like yesterday. So how it works is that if you see that mind is like a stage, and anything which is on the stage, which means you're presenting the stage to the world at large. So the things would look wonderful if they are working in synchronization. I cannot put everything and load everything, because then it is going to make a chaos. So the only and a very beautiful art which I practice for myself is I prioritize. And I prioritize things, and I write those things for myself. That what are the things which are urgencies? What are the things which can be delayed? What are the things that can be actually parked? So if you start doing those things and writing things for yourself, you'll see most of the things are actually wasteful or are not so urgent things. Now, if you start addressing every problem in a go, you would never be able to take the control of the situation. So, for such a thing, you have to first accept that these things are coming, write down, prioritize, and then, steer them through. Let me know if this helps. Organization is very important. Organize these things. Things
Thank you.
start slowing down, yes.
The next question I have is how to reduce negative thoughts. So what can we do to avoid the thoughts which keep coming into your mind?
Start feeling positive thoughts. Simple. If you do not if you feel that the bowl is full of negative water, bad water, dirty water, so what you have to do is you start filling the positivity. And hence, the more positivity you fill yourself with, the negativity slowly starts moving out. Simple.
I have one more question, ma'am. This is one of the uncertainties that we can never be prepared for is the loss of a dear one. So how do you prepare yourself for death of your family member or someone who's close to you? How do you mentally make yourself strong that everybody has to go one day?
Okay. Very beautiful question. So, in this last part, we actually learn about the true existence of myself. How many times, in this whole lifespan, had we really realized that who am I? I think probably hardly any. Or let's say most of us even know that we have soul inside. But I'll still like to ask yourself that how many times have you actually thought of empowering the soul? So the bigger paradox in our life is जो हम हैं वो हम जानते नहीं, and जो हम नहीं हैं, which is that I think that I am the body. I keep working for the body. I keep decorating this body. I keep feeding this body. I keep meeting bodies. I keep appreciating bodies. And finally, one day I burn these bodies. And then we say, how do I prepare myself? So let's
first today realize for myself that I am the energy within. This is just the costume of a girl, of a boy, of a male, female, anything. But I always remain. I am imperishable, immortal being. Then the second thing is that I need to learn this art of detaching myself with this body, which means आप देखो कभी you are wearing a very tight dress. It takes lot of effort to actually fit that dress and wear it. Most of the times we actually get tired wearing a tight dress. Similarly, I, the soul, and this body, the biggest attachment that we have in our life. Through this meditation, we slowly start and very clearly start understanding that this is the soul and this is the body. I am the soul and this is my body. And these are two different things. And then we start appreciating the two different things separately. Similarly, each and every near and dear one of whom we are interacting, be it my brother, be it my father, mother, anybody, start appreciating that these are also unique souls who are playing their role. When we have this vision, we start appreciating everybody's role. We start loving the energy within. When we start appreciating the energy within, then slowly we have love, but the attachment, which is a vice, slowly starts moving away. There is a very thin line of difference between attachment and love. When it's delve into these things deeply, you'll understand and start appreciating these things, and then acceptance comes naturally. Thank you.
Those are all the questions that we had for you, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
And with that, unfortunately, everybody's on mute mode, but I'm sure they would love to call out and say thank you to you personally. But once again, thank you so much for giving us your valuable time today. And I'm sure that we have all really, you know, will really learn something from your session today. So thank you once again,
Pleasure
and
is all mine. Thank you.
have a good weekend.
Thank you so much. Om
Thank
Shanti.
Om
Thank you.
Shanti.
Bye bye. Bye. Take
Thank
care.
you, everybody, and you all may log off now.